What is going on, my YouTube familia? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back into another video. Today's video, we're going to be discussing my reoccurrence of Balanitis again. Unfortunately, I had a really bad flare up this time around, and it was really similar to how it happened the first time, especially with the symptoms. But one of the things that I feel like was different this time around was maybe how it happened, right? So stick around the video so you guys can get the full picture on what's been going on. So several weeks ago, I started having um, issues with my throat, right? Part of it was due to acid reflux, another part because I felt like I was getting sick. And it turned out that I was getting sick, right? So I went to get tested over, over at the urgent care, and they did a test for strep throat to see what it was, but that turned out to be negative, right? And listen to the full story because it's gonna come full circle, right? And the doctor told me that I probably had some type of, because of my symptoms, some type of bacterial um, infection in my throat, right? So I ended up getting prescribed some antibiotics for 7 days. I think it was amoxicillin, if I'm not mistaken. So during the days that I was taking the antibiotics, I started, one night to the next, right? I started feeling, my I know my penis just feel a little off, right? A little weird. Like you can start feeling the difference when something's not right. So, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I went to the bathroom and I saw the tip, right, of my penis was like super red, super red, and I was like, oh no, I'm having another episode of Balanitis again. And I saw, like the symptoms. Let me tell you guys the symptoms. First of all, it was super red, the tip and around the penis section. Also, FYI, I am not circumcised. So I've read that a lot of people who are not circumcised, they're also more susceptible to having these type of issues, right? To suffering from Balanitis and stuff like that. So um, it was red, and also I had really red, uh, like dots, kind of like points, around the tip of my penis, and it was just, I was like, oh, this is looking like something that I've seen and I've experienced before. And on top of that, over the next couple of days, I started feeling itchy in that area. So I was like, oh my god, it could be, um, it could be back again, right? The Balanitis could be back again. One of I originally thought I sleep with boxers, right? And typically in the morning, as a man, if you guys do or do not know this, well, you wake up with what we call morning wood, right? Like your penis is erected in the morning. So I felt like my penis was rubbing against my boxers, and maybe that had harmed me. At least I thought that that was the reason as to why my penis got like that. It was just irritated. But over the next few days, I saw that it wasn't just that; it was the actual Balanitis coming back and having another reoccurrence. Now I had other episodes where it has been small, like the tip of my penis has been red, and maybe it was just irritation in that case, and nothing of it, cool. But this time around, it felt like the first time that I had it. When I made that video for you guys, and if you guys haven't checked it out, I made a first video of my first experience with Balanitis. And this is the second time where officially I felt like, oh, this is another episode. It's another flare up, just like the first time. This time around, though, I felt like it might have lasted a little bit longer than the first one, right? Which I would say it took, in the total of about 7 to 10 days to start, for everything to start fading away. Now, the last time I didn't know what it was, so I had to go to the doctor, right? This time around, though, the first thing that I did was apply this cream, the ketoconazole cream, the 2% cream that you can add. And by the way, I'll show it here in the screen so you guys can see it. This is what the doctor recommended for me when it came to having these, fungal or yeast or bacterial infections in that part of my body, and that is what helped me the first time, and it helped me get better, right? So it took some days, probably about a week the first time, got better, and then that was that. But this time around, I already knew what to apply. So I didn't end up going to the doctor for that. Right. So I started applying that twice a day. I left it on throughout the day. Obviously when I showered, I would shower with, I'll shower with water. I meant to say when I cleaned that part of my body, I just cleaned it with water, right? Whenever I shower, I don't add any soap, shampoo to that area because it can irritate, especially when you were already having an episode, right? So what I did was, making sure that I'm cleaning it correctly. Once you shower, you get out the shower, you got to make sure you dry it correctly, especially if you're not circumcised, because things can be left on there, right? Especially when it closes up like a little turtle, right? Like a turtleneck. So you got to make sure that that you clean it up really well. Um, the cream, I was applying it probably like morning and then before I went to sleep. So probably twice a day. And I did that for about 10 days this time around. I noticed that it wasn't getting better as fast as I thought. Now, here are some of my conclusions as to why this time around it happened, right? First of all, I had a theory that it was probably for some reason my, infection of my throat that probably could have been causing it. Now at this point, I didn't know that I actually did have strep throat. But if you guys don't know, when you get tested for strep throat, you can get tested for strep throat A, B, C, and G, I believe, is the four of them. So I originally got tested for A and B, but after I went back after a week or two back to the doctor because it wasn't getting any better, I got tested. They did a bacterial culture on me of my throat, and it turned out to come back positive, but with strep throat C. So I was putting two and two together, and I'm like, maybe it could have been that, right? It could have been the strep throat, the bacteria that probably could have caused that, that flare up in my gut or whatever, right? Now, this is just me, by the way. This is not any medical advice. This is just me trying to put two and two together. I don't know if that works. All I know is I went to Google and I put strep throat C and can it cause balanitis? And the AI search said, yeah, that is a possibility, right? Not maybe as likely, but it's a possibility. So I'm like, maybe that could have been it, right? I'm just here trying to work things out in my head. But then I spoke to my friend Vicky, who has been a subscriber to my channel for a very, very long time. So shout out to you, Vicky, for always being there in my corner and always showing me some love. We talked about it, and she told me that there's a possibility that the antibiotics cause um, my flare up this time. And I'm like, wait, that's a thing? You think that's a possibility? I don't know why in the back of my head, I had this information, but I didn't even think about it. But when she brought it up, I was like, wait, let me check. So I went back to Google, right? Started doing some research, and it turned out that there is a possibility as well that your antibiotics can cause um, flare ups, and especially if you already had a flare up of balanitis. And one of the reasons is because when you use antibiotics, you kill the good gut bacteria that's in your stomach while it's trying to kill the bad bacteria, right? That you're going through, right? So then it has a reaction and it causes you to have a flare up. And I'm just like, man, that could have been another possibility. So now we're trying to deal with the balanitis itself, right? Now trying to figure out if there is a possibility of your antibiotic causing it, or it could have been also the bacteria that you're suffering from. I mean, again, I'm not a medical professional, but I was just trying to put two and two together as to why it was. Now we're gonna rule something out, right? It was not something that came from anything like sexual intercourse, right? Any type of um, sexual activity. That's not what it was, because I have, personal, I know, but I've tried to, not to be as sexually active um, because of everything that has been going on in my life, right? And then also my faith, if I'm being honest, right? As a man, it's one of the things that we struggle with, unfortunately. And if you're a believer, then that's how men get attacked, and we're so vulnerable to that. We fail so easily. So trying to be stronger in my flesh, right? That on top of reasons, my health, and just trying to be more pure, just trying to do better in life, right? So I haven't been sexually active, and I still, regardless, I still get checked. So I gotten checked I think close to the end of the summer, and I got tested for everything, right? For I think got my blood work done, my urine work done to make sure that I'm okay from STDs, and any type of bacterial infection, and you name it. So that is all good on that end. So I knew in the back of my head, it's not that. It can't be that. And this is why I started thinking, okay, maybe the bacteria, maybe it's the antibiotics, but obviously I don't have a definite answer as to what it was. Plus, maybe the rubbing of my penis and what in my boxer while it's erected throughout the night could have caused a some type of reaction as well. I know it didn't help it. You know what I mean? So now I'm thinking about considering actually sleeping without anything on. Right at the moment when I had the cream on me at night, I decided to continue sleeping with boxers just because I don't want to, get the cream all over like my sheets, right? No pun. And no diddy. And maybe I might consider some type of like sleeping maybe naked from now on so I won't cause that much irritation, in that area in that section because it's something that happens natural, right? If you're watching this on behalf of your man or your husband, a boyfriend, fiance, or it's maybe you have a son or father, I don't know. It is part of our nature, right? So and it happens in typically every morning, right? So it's actually a sign that you're actually pretty healthy down there and that you're everything is working pretty well, I think. So I don't know the definite answer as to why it happened, but the symptoms were the same, right? The redness, I had a the redness, but there was also like kind of like the tip of my penis was red. There was a lot of tips, like a lot of little, I don't know what to call it, but it just looked red, like kind of like we have a pimple, but it's like in the smaller version of that, but in your penis. But it's not a pimple. It's just looks like irritation. It looks like your body's reacting to something, right? The redness, the itching, which once it's itching, it's telling you something and something's going on. You know what I mean? Like something's happening. And I've read in the past, and I think the doctor told me this as well, that once you start suffering from melanitis and or maybe it's like some type of like bacterial infection, keep in mind, guys, I've suffered from uh bacterial prostatitis. I can't believe I almost forgot that. That's been a big part of my life, unfortunately. But bacterial prostatitis. So that in itself, things can react in the future. It's a possibility that things can react to whether it's your gut or coming from the outside. Your body will probably react to that in the future and it's something that you might suffer from. I wouldn't say it can be chronic because if you keep it safe and you stay, you stay have good hygiene, keep yourself safe, you'll probably be okay for the most part. But there are cases where eventually it'll just resurface, right? You might need to get on antibiotics again. You might need to get on the cream again. It just happens. It's an unfortunate event, but it happens. So um, that is what happened with my experience. I know a lot of you guys have asked, how do um, I cured it. Technically, I just use the cream, and in this situation, I give it days. I make sure I keep it clean. Make sure that every time you shower or you use it, if you have sexual intercourse, make sure you clean it. You have to clean it and make sure you dry it if you aren't circumcised. And hygiene is just very important while you're suffering from this. Also, if you're masturbating or having intercourse, it's not going to help you. It is going to irritate the area more and it's going to keep your symptoms for longer. So make sure that you stay away from anything. Make sure you give it rest, you let it be, and make sure you heal up well because you don't want to keep irritating that area and keep suffering from this for longer than you should. So try to have as much discipline as you can when it comes to just taking care of that situation. Maybe try to figure out ways what could have caused it, right? Was it because either your sexual partner, caused that to happen, right? Sometimes the pH levels could affect you, especially if you're having a protected sex. That could affect your flora, so your bacteria as well. And you never know. Start thinking maybe antibiotics as well. Like in my case, could it be? but it was either one of those that I mentioned, right? One of those above. So I'm glad that it's gotten better, and pretty much at this point, I'm doing much better. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because, first of all, just to give you an update on the flare up, but also I'm gonna make a bacterial of well, my strep C that I suffer from, and I'm taking antibiotics again because I got put on more antibiotics, except this time I didn't feel like these antibiotics caused any reaction. So just putting it out there. I will make a video, probably drop both videos at the same time, so you guys can get a full picture of what happened. So I'm gonna make a strep throat. See, I'm probably gonna leave the link to the video below on the comment section, so you guys can see it and also see. I don't know if that's a correlation or not, but I just wanted to make a video in regards to my strep throat C, because I don't think I've ever had that. I think I had strep throat A and B before, but not strep throat C. So, yeah. So hopefully, guys, this video helped you in any way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe it to my channel. If you want to be part of my channel and you're feeling generous, you can also be part of. You can become a member. You know what I mean? But you don't have to. But if you would, that would be great. It would just help me grow as a content creator. And I just hope that this video helped men, or any if you have family or friends that are suffering from this, that it helped you in any way possible. Let them know that you're not alone, and that there's other men suffering from this. And look for help. If you're going through something and it looks like a concern, listen, go get tested, go get checked, go to the doctor. I know it's very vulnerable, and you put yourself in a state of vulnerability when it comes to that, but your health matters, and it's more important than the embarrassment you might feel for going through all of that and getting checked. Do it for yourself, do it for your family, do it for your friends. Just take care of yourself, go get checked. And if you do have something, then start taking care of it, right? And you proceed from that, and hopefully you will never suffer from that again. But thank you guys for watching this video. Take care of yourself, take care of each other. As always, peace and love, familia. See you guys on the next one.